Hey everyone, this is Chris, your friendly neighborhood Minnesota comic geek, back with another haul video. Before I get started, I would ask that if you enjoy this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoy talking comics, then comment below. Alright, let's get into it. So this batch of comics that I am going to run through came about because for the first time I engaged with a private seller on Facebook Marketplace to come look at the 30 or 40 mix of short and long boxes of a collection that he had bought. You know, there's thousands of comics there to go through. And the post that he put up in the Minnesota Comic Exchange Facebook group gave the impression that the comics that I would be digging through were all going to be $1 or less. You know, he gave the impression that, you know, he'd had a bunch of people already come and look through and dig through the boxes, and they made piles of quarter books, 50-cent books, 75-cent books, and dollar books. So like just a range between, you know, 25 cents to $1 for whatever books, you know, people picked out. So that was kind of my understanding going there. In the course of talking to this guy and trying to, you know, gauge whether it'd be worth my time to even go up there, a buddy of mine also contacted this guy and I believe had already been there once, but and gotten a good haul of books. And so he had messaged me, my buddy had messaged me about, you know, if I wanted to join him the next time he went. And you know, it just happened to be that I was talking to the same guy that he was going to dig through the collection with. And so yeah, I decided to join him and go dig through the books. And so we get there, and right away the guy, very friendly guy, kind of runs through kind of what he's thinking price wise for stuff in terms of deals. And I was kind of half paying attention, but I could have swore he said $60 for a short box and like $100 for a long box, something like that. And I just, you know, moved on because I wasn't sure what I was going to find. In the course of digging through the boxes, and then when it came time to, you know, settle up at the end, he seemed to kind of default to $1 per book for me. Like that was roughly his first like offering in terms of the books I picked out. I ended up with roughly a short box worth. I ended up grabbing 103 comics, and we kind of compromised on about like he wanted to charge me like $100 for the 103 books right away, and like we compromised on $80 for the books. So it came out to approximately 78 cents per book that I'm going to show in this video. And I might have to break it into two videos because I got a lot of books and I kind of want to give the spiel right away about the experience. I left kind of on a not necessarily sour note, just a was it worth it kind of feeling, based on the random nature that this guy seemed to be operating under. So all the boxes, nothing was really organized. Like, yeah, they were kind of collected into titles, but the boxes were all in disorder in terms of like Avengers was next to Thor, and Image Comics were next to DC, and like all the boxes were just mixed up. And So to find, gems, hidden gems, sneaky, valuable stuff, you literally had to dig through everything. You couldn't just, pull out your list of titles that you're looking for and just look through those boxes. You had to look through everything, which was just, because of that, it was good that I was there with my buddy, because part of me going was not just to get comics for myself, but to pick out books for my buddy, because he tries to buy in bulk to sell on Whatnot for just slightly above bulk, or find gems that are worth more than the dollar bin. So it was kind of a two-pronged thing for me to look for my stuff and look for stuff for him to add into his boxes that he was buying, to hopefully lower the price per book for him. But in the course of digging through the boxes and talking to this guy while we were digging, I got the impression that he wasn't that knowledgeable on comics in general. Like he had some comic book knowledge, but just wasn't aware of like what I consider common knowledge within the comic industry and with the creators and titles and stuff. Because at one point I mentioned, like, he asked, what was I looking for in particular, and I'm always number one looking for Adam Hughes, so I mentioned that, and he had no idea who Adam Hughes was. And it's hard to be a comic book collector for an extended period of time and not really know who that is, just because he's been so prolific and is such a prominent artist within the comic industry, and has been for the better part of almost 4 decades now. And specifically, he asked, some of the key books that Adam Hughes has, and then he would look him up on Key Collector and whatever. And so that was where I was starting to get the impression he doesn't really know the value of the books or the creators. And so that's where I was starting to get a little worried about, is he going to try and individually go through the books that we pulled and really try to pick out the ones that are more valuable to charge a more appropriate price for them? I don't know. That's why one of my hesitations to doing something like this is not knowing what the objective of the seller is. There's sellers who just have bulk or just have comics, and they just put a standard across the board price. Whatever you find, that's the price. $1, $2 per book, whatever you find, that's the price, no matter how valuable the book may or may not be. And then there's more of the individual issue type sellers who price out their books individually, and you can just pay the listed price on the bag, the sticker price of whatever that person is valuing that book at. And so this guy was kind of a hybrid of that, it seemed. My buddy had told me some other stories of, like I said, he'd been there before and had talked to the guy about stuff, and that he had when some other people were there and pulled out some books, he looked them up and realized they were more valuable than just a buck, and so he pulled it back and didn't sell it to that person just so he could sell it for more later. Which I guess that's kind of a shady way to go about this. Yeah, technically he can do it. They're his books. He hasn't made an official deal. He can pull them back. Yes, but it's not operating in good faith with prospective buyers that come to look at the books and the collection. And so, like, if you're trying to unload, thousands of books at bulk prices, you might just have to accept that a really valuable book will slip through. And the reason I kind of have a problem with this is that when the collection is in such disarray in terms of organization, you're relying on the buyer, me, my buddy, all the other people who have come to look at the collection, to do the grunt work of digging through the boxes and finding and picking out the valuable books, either keys or what the individual buyer might consider valuable to them. And then for the buyer to go through that work of finding these books only to have the seller, take it for themselves, it's just shady. It's in the, like I said, it's operating in bad faith in this social contract of buying and selling bulk comics on Facebook Marketplace or at comic shows or whatever. Like, if you didn't do the work to go through the collection to find the valuable books, that's on you. I don't know what to tell you. That's my personal opinion on the matter. Some of you might feel different. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that type of situation. But yeah, all in all, I think I got some good books for me and my collection and what I find valuable and what I enjoy reading. I wish I could have gotten a slightly better deal, just because very few of these books are really that valuable. They're more just run fillers or just personal preferences in terms of what I like. But starting off, I found this Supervillain Classics #1, Galactus: The Origin. I've never seen this before, but I flipped through it when I got home. It's kind of a collection of several Galactus stories about his origin and first couple appearances, but it's more than just a standard reprint. It has reprinted contents from a couple of different issues, but it also has some new expanded stories in the issue, and a high grade value or high graded copy of this book on Geek Collector, says it's worth about $20. So kind of happy to find this and be able to read this later. Then there was a good amount of Silver Surfer comics in these bins, and so I just grabbed a bunch of issues that I needed. So I got the -1, the flashback issue. I got issue 1, which has value. I got issue 46, which I've been needing and looking for quite a while. It's the reintroduction of Adam Warlock, Gamora, Pip, and Drax and stuff from within the Soul Gem or from the Soul Gem. So this is a small key issue. Then I got Silver Surfer #50, the second printing, which you can tell by the fact that the foil embossed has like the black accents, but also down here in the corner it says second printing. And funny enough, the second printing is actually worth more than the first printing, so kind of cool there, because I don't have a copy of the second printing. I got issue 56 and 57. Found 2 copies of issue 75, which I'm gonna grab all day, every day. This is one of my favorite Silver Surfer issues of all time. The 90s holographic foil embossed cover, the 90s gimmick glory of it all is so great. I just love it so much. It's also does have some key significance in that Frankie Ray Nova, the second Nova, dies in this issue. I got issue 82. This is the first full appearance of Tyrant. I got issue 98, which, if you haven't read, if you're a Silver Surfer fan and you haven't read, I believe it's issues 96, 97, no, it's 97, 98, 99, and 100 here. It's a great 4-issue Mephisto Silver Surfer story that is titled Temptation, and then whatever Mephisto is tempting the Silver Surfer with to try and get his soul. It's a great story. Definitely worth reading. I got issue 100 with the holographic Silver Surfer sticker or whatever on the cover here. Issue 112, issue 117, which is the first Black Silver Surfer, first appearance of that. A lot of these later issues I didn't collect and buy at the time of their release, because I kind of stopped at issue 100, so I've needed to get all these kind of later issues, so getting them super cheap all at once, pretty good. Issue 125, issue 126, issue 128 is just a key purely for this Ron Garney cover. Yeah, I guess. Pretty cool. Issue 129, issue 131, 132, and I grabbed 2 copies of 139 by accident. Issue 140, issue 141, issue 142, and issue 145. So, got a lot of these later issues and starting to fill in that back half of the Silver Surfer run. Alright, so the video is starting to get a little too long, and I still have a bunch more comics to go through on this haul, so I'm going to kind of cut this video, or this haul video, into 2 parts and just end the first half here and put out the second half either later this week or next week. Thanks for watching so far, and again, if you enjoyed this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, comment below and let's talk comics. Bye.